Let's go. Oh, ladies and gentlemen, you know what time it is. You don't know what night it is. You don't even know what day it is. It's pitch black outside. It could be 5 o'clock. It could be 10 o'clock. You don't know because I put these out whenever I get a chance. Mind you, I'm editing myself because we distinguished tonight. We're using that third eye tonight. We're using the head that's on the top tonight. I'm bringing in the intellectual What's Good America this evening. You see, I got a shirt with sleeves on it tonight, so you know I got to be talking about something deep. I am that third eye using, 2-degree abusing, system loving Christopher Turner this evening. And my right-hand man on my left-hand side, but he's still my left-hand man on my right-hand side, Mr. Gainfully Employed, Mr. 401k, Mr. What's Good America, because he is America, James Madison Walton the third. What's good with you, big game?
Hey, what's good, America? Man, look here. I'm going to tell you right now. It's hard. It's rough out here in these streets. You see this nappy beard, man. I need to go ahead and get this haircut and stop playing. That's why I've been rocking the hat so hard, number one. And number two, let's just keep it short and simple from me, man, because I get to do an introduction tonight, man. This is, man. Let me tell y'all something about this guy we bring into this conversation. In America, I mean this. I have a few mentors in my life, but this guy right here took me under as a young Thundercat and dropped so many jewels from the age of like 11 and 12, all the way now I'm 37 and some change, and he still drops me with some every day. So I am proud to introduce the guy that got me to be Mr. Saturday Night and have swag, the guy that got me to be Big Game James. The one that was smart enough to tell me, you should have kept dribbling that basketball because you're not going to be 6'7". You could have been a point guard. The man that taught me about 401ks. The man that taught me about Havana, the whole nine. My uncle, Julian Mark Walton Sr. Unc, welcome to the show, man. Glad to have you.
What's happening, nephew?
Man, this is big, man. You know.
Yeah.
Hold on, Walt. Hold on.
This is big, man.
I got to get ignorant just for a second. I know we're using the third eye tonight, and we're gonna keep it nice and distinguished and eloquent tonight because we got some real deep topics we need to hit. But it wouldn't be us if I didn't get petty in the beginning. All right, I'll be real quick. I'm gonna be real short. I ain't calling out no names. You know how I know we're on the right track?
How's that?
When somebody tries to steal from you, when somebody tries to copy your show, you know for a fact, because imitation is flattery to us, and we appreciate it. So we know we're on the right track if you're trying to copy what we're doing. It's too much soul on this show, first of all. I'm not even going to get into all of it. It's too much soul. It's too original. What we do is from the heart. It ain't stolen from nobody else. This is what we do because we love what we do and we do what we does. So if you're going to copy us, keep taking notes. You can't be me because my intros are alcohol-induced. You can't be Walt because all of his is from the head and from the heart. So you can keep trying, but that's all you can do.
And while I'm at it, to my southern base, when we first started this show and we didn't have visual, and this is the truth, they thought I was white.
They got surprised in the mug when they finally saw your face. They were like, "Oh!"
Hey, they still didn't believe it. They thought somebody was doing a voiceover and put it over black.
Oh God!
Look here, this is my uncle. This is my blood. Okay, you see the Walton? It's all in her. So I got that out too. I've been wanting to get that out on because they was going hard the first 5 shows.
Well, another giveaway is your name is James Madison Walton. Mine is Julian Mark Walton. Notice a similarity? Yeah, dog. Straight off the vine right over there. What?
Hey, Jamestown originals right here. Boy, we off the boat, so for real. But man, we're excited to come to y'all, man. And I brought my uncle in, Chris, and in all honesty, it was just for things that we've been talking about and have a great perspective. We've had a couple of shows that have been, about the HBCUs that are near and dear to our hearts. And another side truth to this, and Unc's gonna nod. This is actually a fact because I've said it in other shows, but I want to say it to him, looking at him in the camera. My uncle did tell me to go to HBCUs when I was up and coming. We did a whole show on that, Unc, and I wanted to give you props for that as well too. He was the one that said, "You want to go play D1? You need to go down here to come to FAM, go to one of these schools." And he was right. I'd probably be in the booth right now if I'd have went to an HBCU and killed. So, so this topic is very near and dear to us, and we're going to start right back into it with the movements of things that we've seen just recently with these young players that have started to, on the basketball end, have started to commit to the HBCU's top recruits.
Yep.
And really, I want to give the floor to you, really first, or Chris, whoever wants to take it. But
well, let me take it first a little bit because mine be short and sweet. Like I said on the show a couple times before, like I was the 5-star D1, all this other stuff, and my uncle. I don't want to say, I hate to say that he didn't do all he could to kind of push me towards a HBCU, but his whole thing was, I know what you're trying to do and I know where you're trying to go. And I know what HBCUs are lacking at the moment. Now, he gave me the same conversation that I'm sure some of these recruiters are giving these kids now. Somebody has to be the first. Like you could be the first 5-star that chooses FAMU over Florida State. You could be the first 5-star that'll choose BCC or BCU now, I believe they're called, over Miami. Now, at that time, I chose Florida State, but my whole deal was because I brought it up my uncle, and a lot of my conversation tonight is from my uncle, Aaron Weeks, love you to death. They didn't recruit me. Like they came to our school, and mind you, I'll go down the numbers and everything. But in my school, my senior year, 2002, we had 12 guys go to college from the football team. We had 8 from the basketball team. We had 9 from the baseball team. Track team had 5. And during this whole process, like the HBCUs would come in, but they would shoot their shot at like the 2-star, the 3-star guys. And they would walk in and essentially walk past the 5-star guys. And as arrogant as I was at 18, all right, you're gonna walk past me? Like, do you not know who I am?
Right.
All right, like you wouldn't even speak. And like my aunt kind of gave me the I guess the knowledge now, whereas the same thing I feel like with working, I've said this 1,000 times. At the end of the day, everything comes down to money, one way or another.
Right.
And at that time, he just told me that, listen, they're not gonna waste their time, their resources on you when they know they can't get you. They'd rather spend their time, the recruiting visits, their money, flying somebody to their school on somebody they legit have a 50% shot at getting. And it makes sense now. It makes a lot of sense now, whereas at that time I felt slighted, like, okay, my own people don't even want me, but this coach from Tennessee, Pete Carroll, can fly from LA to come see me for a game. But the coach at FAMU won't even give me a handshake and won't even have a conversation with me because I want to talk about, hey, my uncle went there and maybe even build something from that. So that's my 2 cents. And of course, I'm rude and arrogant, so I'm going to chip in and interrupt people like I always do. But go ahead.
You tied that into
No.
Oh, I was going to ask you that question for that, Unc, and let you take it. Resources. This is something you and I kind of talked about offline in regards to the difference between a Florida State and, let's say, a FAMU. Can you kind of break some of that down and why these discrepancies really, and just some of the research you've done, and of course being, a FAMU alum as well, have kind of made these things happen?
Right. Well, all right. So let me just take it to the beginning. Like I was on a board of directors for a nonprofit for about 11 years, and about 6 of those years they made me be the treasurer. And I was like, cool, I can do this. I got my undergrad in accounting, right? So while I'm doing my studying, I come across this thing called an endowment, right? And I'm like, well, what's that? And endowments caught my attention because you could give a college like $1 million, right? And then make a stipulation that says you can't spend my $1 million. You can only spend 50% of the interest that you can earn on my $1 million and give me the other 50% back. right? So they really wasn't, giving you any, they don't let you spend the principal. You got to live on the interest, but they still got full tax benefits from it, right? So I don't know what's 5% of $1 million. I didn't do the math. I'm gonna say it's about 50 grand, right? So you get 25 grand a year off that 1 million bucks, right? So I'm like, all right, cool. Then the other thing that was nice about it was the organization does not have to tell anybody who's donated to them. You could donate to one of these nonprofits completely anonymously, right? So, or you could let everybody know. You get the halo, but you're getting the tax benefit. You're not losing your principal, and you still earning interest. 50% of your annual interest on your $1 million comes back to you. The other half goes to your nonprofit. I'm like, this is perfect. So, all right. I'm scratching my head. I got an MBA. Let me find out who's the baddest in the land. Who got the biggest endowment? And I'm sure you can guess who's got the biggest endowment. Take a guess.
Isn't it Harvard?
Yes. Right now, Harvard's got like 38.3 billion in their endowment.
Damn.
They're number one. Third, think about that. Like all right, so just that like what 10%? If you have a good year, invest in that. There you go. What's up, Nisi Poo?
Yeah, shout out to the fiance, babe.
Shout out to the Nisi Poo.
Hey, it's all good. He's gonna get right back to this point, but we talk about HBCUs and Harvard. Then
right, right.
That's actually a good segue. Go ahead, though.
I'm just saying. I mean, that's an ignorant amount of money if you earn in 5-10% on that to split with the organization and then put back into your own cost. You understand what I'm saying? And so it was a whole list of 100 universities: Harvard, Yale, Princeton, University of Texas, all the way down to the last one. And it was like $400 billion worth of money invested in like endowment funds that was generating interest, some of which was going to the endowment, some of which was coming back, and all of that was basically tax-free. I'm like, this is where privilege, I won't call it anybody's particular color, this is where privilege lives. All this other money in the stock, that's just play money. You know what I'm saying? They keep their principal off this money. So I'm like, wow. Then I'm like, wait a minute. So I had a couple of friends that was like, presidents like of Black organizations, like, man, what you know about these endowments? They're like, huh? I asked my own executive directors, like, what you know about these endowments? They were like, what's that? I'm like, come on now. So this is one of my favorite quotes. Like, Black nonprofits operate like lions on the Serengeti. They eat what they kill, right? They raise the money, they spend it. Raise it, spend it. You know what I'm saying? There's no.
Hold on. Hey, let me interrupt for a second. You are 1,000% correct, because during my little off time when I thought football was done and I was licking my tears up and drinking my sins away and everything, I worked for a company called the Urban League of Broward County.
Okay.
Like the fundraisers we had to do, the money we had to raise, we had a thing called the Red Gala Ball, where they were auctioning things off and you can meet this person and that person. Like, it seemed like don't get me wrong, there was a lot of great things done in the Urban League of Broward County. I love it to death. And whenever I go back to Miami, that's the first place I'm stopping by, because they gave me an introduction into the business world and let me know how things work. But the raising money part of it, seemed to be the most important part. Don't get me wrong, we did a lot of great things for the community. And like our people, and call it what it is, like, we treated our people first. We took care of our community. And Dr. Ball, which my hat's off to her, like, she treated our people like kings and queens that they are. And I love her to death, and like, she was the hands-on CEO and everything. But I know for a fact when it came down to raising money, a nonprofit is the most cutthroat organization because they have to do it. Like they can't wait on anything. They can't rely on anybody else. Like we got to go out and get this money. But I get that. God, I get that.
Yeah.
Hey, so Harvard's got 38 billion. So I mean, 10% of that is 3.8 billion. Right? So they had a good year and they earned 10% on that. They had 1.9 billion. I mean, yeah,
to play with.
So then their coaches can come and stop by and holler at you, D1 style players, because they got their money. They're gonna leave you and fly to LA, then they leave LA to fly to Detroit. They flying all over the country, staying in hotels, bringing their assistant coaches with them and some other things with them. You know what I'm saying?
There's a school he brought up, and this is why I've got Julian Mark Walton Sr. in here, because basically I'm just going to be like, I'm just going to piggyback off everything he says. This is a great show for me that you don't have to hear a lot from me. But one of the schools he mentioned, and this is the thing I can bring into this. So he mentioned that top 5, right? It was Harvard, Princeton, Yale. And did you hear him mention Texas in that top 5?
Oh, yeah.
That oil money is real.
There is one school in all of college sports that has their own television network. Think about that. They have the Longhorn station like they the Yankees, like the Yankees have the Yes Net. You know what I'm saying? Like that's crazy to put that in the sports world, to be able to go with him talking about them being in the top 5 or top 10. Like we should expect schools like a Harvard, a Princeton, a Yale to have those type of downs based off the graduates they pump out. Let's look at Harvard, prime example. The 10th richest person in the world graduated from there. That's Zuckerberg. So of course they're going to have that type of endowment type deal. In America, I'm not going to sit in front like I didn't know about endowments until Unc told me this about 30 days ago. So I'm not going to act like I'm super smart on this one. But,
check this out.
Yeah.
Let me hit you with this because you brought Texas up. So University of Alabama has a board of directors. All right. On that board of directors, do you know which 2 schools they control?
Nope.
They control Alabama and University of Alabama Birmingham, so UAB. Now, for the Texas board of directors, do you know what schools they control?
Yeah, they call it the University of Texas system, and there's also the University of Texas A&M system. And that
exactly.
University system got $30 billion, and that Texas A&M is around that $10 billion range. But anyway, go ahead. So
that Texas board of directors controls TCU, Texas State, Baylor, Texas A&M, Houston, and then UTEP. So when Texas A&M had to go, when Texas A&M went to the SEC, they had to ask the University of Texas if they could do so.
Ooh,
that money's long. Boy, that money's long.
Texas, I believe it.
Oh yeah. So let's bring it back down. So now you're like, all right. So all right, we understand how come Harvard's got a lot of money because they got a lot of wealthy.
Right.
Well, so does FAMU, right?
Exactly.
Yeah.
But listen. Let me just tie it into the broader, because I personally, and we can talk about this later. I personally don't think we really need reparations, right? Now here's why. In 2019, the African American total gross domestic product, or buying power, right? The money you got left over to spend, was 1.4 trillion. Okay, trillion last year. And so just for shits and giggles, right? 10% of that is 140 billion. So if we decided as a group, and I know it's impossible, it's like boiling the ocean, but just for numbers' sake, just for the idea of it, to put it out there in the universe, right? 140 billion is 10% of what our gross domestic product was last year. That could be 140 African-American nonprofits that all had $1 billion each. And then that 1 billion, 5% of that is 50 million. Half back to the endowment, each one of them, 140 of them, and then 25 million to work with. You understand what I'm saying? So we don't necessarily, I mean, we could ask for reparations. We deserve reparations. We deserve it. We don't need it. We don't really need it. All we need is good leadership and for everybody to get on the same damn page. But besides that, so now, endowments, right? You understand? And then let me tell you this last back up. So one of the very, very smart people that I know was a leader of, I even call it out, but I won't say which one, National Black NBA, one of them cities, right? President of it.
Right.
I'm like, yo, man, why don't you, go ahead on? Because he was telling me I have tripled the amount of money that we raised. I'm like, why don't you set some of that into an endowment? He was like, why would I do that? I'm like, what you mean, why would you do that? It's like the difference between having a saving account, leaving your kids a saving account, and leaving them like a trust fund, right? Which one's better? He's like, but then I can't just grab the money. I can't reach out and touch that money if I need it. I'm like, that line on the Serengeti go. They can't, some of these leaders can't imagine not being able to just grab a few thousand or whatever, even when they got like $160,000 or so. And so, man, we gotta change the mindset of our Black leadership to understand the value of, and they all already intuitively know this. I'm not the smartest guy in the country, right? I'm not even the smartest guy from my school, right? But they don't seem to be able to grasp the balls it takes to just leave that money sitting there and growing. You still got to hustle and bustle to get that annual, raise that money on an annual basis. Just let some of it have one of them fundraisers for the endowment fund. You know what I'm saying? Specifically for that. And then the other ones that you would always do for your normal operating budget. You understand? And just add a third one for the endowment fund and grow them all at the same time. Something like that, man. Because that's the difference between what we can do and what these other universities that's been on that forever can do.
And I'm going to go ahead and say that's the main point about really intelligence when you say that. And I agree with you, because that happens a lot on this show. In general, I'm never the smartest person in the conversation, but at the same time, I feel like I am. Because think about it, huh? Like, how simple was it? How many people thought about the fact that, oh my God, if I could have any restaurant like a McDonald's deliver my food to me when I was drunk, that would be incredible. Somebody came up with Uber Eats and DoorDash and all that. I don't really think that was such a crazy concept. Oh, what if we could have more than just taxis getting us wherever we have to go? Somebody came up with Uber, billionaire. So I think the point that you're making, number one, is that you should run for president. You have money. No, but the main point that I feel like you're making is that it's right there in front of the HBCUs, and it's a great segue because we'll end up still talking about them on our next topic with a very special guy to both you guys' hearts. Especially with Unc, because Unc, thinking about that guy, Unc was in Tallahassee during that era. So,
Yep.
He might have some stories we don't even know when we get to our next topic. But the fact that our HBCUs, and now you do have somebody that has an opportunity to run for office, like, these are things that can be happening. Like, he broke down endowments right there, and takes one person listen to the show and go, you know what, we just did the numbers. He's absolutely right. And that gives us the opportunity to grow our schools and become these places where we can start going after the Chris Turners of the world. This dude was top 100 in the country. And
I couldn't even get a hello, dude. That was the thing about it.
In the country. I was like top 500 in the country, like maybe about that. But this dude was top 100 and still feel like, that's why we come back, because he still feels slighted that nobody did.
Yeah, real talk.
To me. Now when we come into our age, it's like the things that I think about what he said now, because I've said it on the show, and I told Unc, I said, Unc, I can't go to school where everybody's going to watch the band and not watch me. I just, typical 16, 17-year-old young black stuff, that you naturally, he's like, I expected that answer from him. Seeing where he goes to high school and what's happening with him right now. That makes sense because everybody's watching his ass. So that made sense. But to be able to have that simplistic of, hey, this is just the way we need to change the way that we invest back in our school, and look what it could do for us. Look what it's done for Harvard all these years and the Yales, and that's why people feel the way they feel about these schools. It gave Texas their own television network. Like, to hear you say Texas, that's the first thing that triggered my head with this having, a sports feel to it is, there's one school that I know in the country that has their own network. There's no other school in the country that has that.
I left 2 points out. Let me, the more things come to me, the more I sip on my little drink.
Yeah.
Hey, you got 5 minutes and 30 seconds before we got to go to the next video. So you good. Let them out, man.
So, damn, I lost my train of thought just that fast. So, damn, I lost my train of thought that fast.
That's all right. If it comes back to you,
it's
we
all
still
right.
got time. We
still got good ones. All right. Keep talking.
So check this out. So to kind of, because we got the 5 minutes or whatever, and then we'll go to another Zoom. But HBCUs, I love them to death. I pledged a Greek fraternity. I am a member of Phi Beta Sigma Incorporated, 1914 Howard University. I love my Greekness to death. I love HBCUs to death. And like I said, I know everything comes back down to money. But why not shoot your shot? And I know this leads into the next topic or whatever. Well, why not go to the 5-star guy that you're going to pass on your way to the 2-star guy and be like, hey, just in case, my name's Coach so-and-so. I know I don't want to take up too much of your time. Just to be a casual hello. Just to say, hey, you could be the first, big dog. Or go to that top 100 point guard when you're going to go see that 6'10" center that you know for a fact isn't going D1. You pass that guy like, hey, listen, dudes, you can come to my league. You'll be starting from day one. You can average 30 points a game. You can do this. You can bring your boys and blah, blah, blah. You could be the first. And I don't think HBCUs get the ego that 5-star, 4-star guys have when you could tell them, like, listen, you can be that guy.
Right.
Hands down, as soon as you step on campus, everybody knows your name. You are like, this campus is now I'm handing you the keys, and you can build this car however you want to.
That's a Mikey Williams kid. Howard, I mean, listen, Unc, I don't know if you even saw that, but the number 7 recruits going to Howard in basketball. And and I think for us, we had talked about it. This show has accidentally had a way to predict some things in the future, because we talked about what it would take for an HBCU to compete, whether it was football or basketball. And it said it takes that one kid. And then the next thing you know, I think there was another kid that just committed.
There was a couple of them,
that have all committed. They're like top 15, 20 players in the entire country. And now you start looking, and other guys start going, but man, because we're in the LeBron James era where everybody wants to play with everybody. It's a different era. Our era, we're the last of your era in the 80s where we wanted to go do our thing away from everybody else and be the best.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? Right. Unless it was like for real your boy that you was with, And Unc knows actually went to Young basketball powerhouse in our city, Chris, where real basketball's played, not that Florida basketball.
On the couch,
but you start having that happen. Because
Florida, you got no real basketball players down in Florida.
Tell them, they got Vince Carter.
Oh,
they just got football country down there, man. That's football country down there, man. I don't know how to hoop.
Wait a minute.
I don't know what it's really like.
Listen, y'all had a couple good years, and you got your one little high school that produced talent. I get that. You got your one little school that do it.
Good year. Did you not see the finals?
I said you had
finals.
I said you had a couple. I said you had a couple good guys or whatever.
James better be grateful for the city of Chicago, because without the city of Chicago, he wouldn't have no title right now. Jimmy Butler would have had that. And we raised Jimmy Butler. Jimmy Butler is Texas-born, Chicago-raised. He's playing basketball in our streets. I mean, the United Center. So we
like I said, you had a couple.
AD.
You got You got your little Simeon High School and all that other stuff. That's fine and dandy and whatever.
See, you messing with
That's
public
fine.
school. You taking a
Come
shot
on
at
now.
public. Don't do that now. I gotta. This is a real South Side. You gonna take your shots. Gonna eat you up this next minute before we get off.
You got your little Simeon.
Chicago.
You got your little Simeon High
It's about
School.
Every championship NBA team, the last
Oh God.
got a major contributor on that squad from the Chi, baby.
Crib.
I
At
got
least
I
7
got
out
two
of
of
the
y'all.
last 10.
Crib.
Come on now.
We don't brag about much in Chicago outside of pizza and hookers. That's what we do. Okay, understand that. That's what we
Don't
are.
worry about it.
I'm glad he's on the show. This made that little 2 minutes made my. Don't you be coming after us. You come after us and other things, but you leave the basketball alone. We will forever be the Mecca. It doesn't
It's-
matter.
It's two of y'all, so it's hard to argue. Whatever. I'll leave it alone.
All right. But on this note, America, we're going to go ahead. We're coming back with 2 more topics. We just got to transition because we ain't upgrading the pro yet. We still looking for that sponsor. Chris is going to bring us right back in. We're going to hop to topic 2. So we'll have these videos kind of spread out throughout. It's been a good conversation so far, fellas. I can't wait to hear what Unk's got to say about the next one, man. So as we
Let's do
always
it.
say, what's good, America?
What's good?
What's good?